Hello and welcome to the video. This video is about this thing here. This is the XK A1200. It is a plane that comes with everything in the box that you need to fly. Well, almost. Now this is the ready to fly kit. I got this one from Motion RC. Somebody messaged me about it and told me about it because this is in a very similar vein to other really nice trainer planes that I like. And I like these kind of layouts when you're learning to fly for a couple of reasons. First is that they tend to be quite naturally stable with the wings being quite high on the body, and secondly, having the motor and prop mounted dorsally on the back of the plane mean that when you're coming into land, if you make a bit of a mess of it, then the prop isn't snapped and motor mounts aren't broken and things like that. So it tends to take a little bit more punishment when you come into land. So in this video, I'm going to go through what you get in the box, how it goes together, tips and tricks, and then give you my overall impression at the end. Now, I have continued to look for the perfect trainer plane, and a lot of the planes that I've looked at on the channel already don't come with any kind of receiver or radio. In fact, I've got a video, I'll link to it in the description, the simple plane setup for OpenTX radios. So if you're a quadcopter pilot and you're looking to move into planes, then this is probably not going to be for you, because it does come with the radio, the battery, the charger, and everything inside the box. But if you're looking to get into radio control and you don't know what you need to buy, the idea of setting up a plane model and twiddling with things in radio menus just leaves you absolutely cold, then this kind of ready to fly setup where everything is in the box, it's all pre-bound, you don't have to do any settings at all, you just have to plug it all together, charge the battery and go to the field, might be much more attractive. So the plane has a 1.2 meter wingspan, hence the 1200 millimeters in the name. That's just over 47 inches. The radio itself is a little bit plasticky. It's a Futaba S FHSS compatible radio. The receiver and the gyroscope actually has a little stabilizer thing inside this to help you fly. It is all one module, and there is one battery supplied, a 2000 milliamp hour 2S battery with the battery charger, the USB charging cable, and the manual as well. Now we'll come back to the manual because the manual is not very good in my opinion and needs a dramatic rewrite. If this is aimed at people as one of their first models, the manual could be a lot clearer on how to go about everything and give you some tips and tricks in getting to fly as well. Putting the model together is very simple and straightforward. Luckily, there's no glue needed at all. The horizontal stabilizer just fits into place and all the electrical connections are made as you put the pieces onto the model. So once you've got the horizontal stabilizer in place, then you keep that in position with one little screw that goes in the back here. So you need a little screwdriver for that. And then once you've done that, the vertical stabilizer, it goes over the top, and that's held in place with the longer screw that goes in through the bottom. And that's the tail all set up. All the servos and all the linkages and everything are set up, ready to go out of the box. Once the tailpiece is on, then it's just a case of plugging in the wings. Install the spar through the middle of the craft and then slide the wings on, and they're held in place with plastic clips. Again, the great thing is that all the electrical connections are made as soon as you push the wing home. So there's no wiring needed at all. Everything is very simple and easy to put together. The other thing that's great, of course, is because there's no glue, because it's all held together with screws, you can also take it apart to put it inside the box for transport or for keeping it safe. And that does mean if you do accidentally break a wing, spares are available. You could get another wing and just snap it into place, and that's the model repaired, ready to fly again. Now there are two flight modes available on this plane. There's like a 3D mode, and there's one with the stabilizer turned on. And you change the flight mode by flicking the button in the top left corner of the radio. There's lots of buttons on this radio, and it definitely feels like this is one that's probably used for lots of XK models, which makes it look a little bit overwhelming. But apart from the main controls for the throttle, elevator, rudder and aileron, there's only that really mode button that seems to do anything at all. And moving all of the control surfaces once it's all together shows the stabilizer is doing a lot of work. It's coordinating lots of the different controls together in a way that a pilot would probably do once they had a bit of experience. So as you can see here, as I move one control, other controls are being moved as well. And that makes for a very smooth flying experience. The plane does an awful lot of the work for you when you have the stabilizer turned on. So talking about flying, let me go out to the field and just show you a little bit of flight footage. I've been flying this for a couple of weeks now. This is a nice sunny day here, but there's actually a little bit of wind as soon as you get above kind of 10-12 feet. So it's a great way to kind of show you how well the stabilizer works. Again, it's very easy to launch. That's another reason why I like these things for beginner planes. Your hands are well out of the way of the prop. One shove into the air with a little bit of throttle, and away it goes. Now the stabilizer will work very hard to keep the plane nice and level and from getting it blown about too much, and with the increase of the elevator at the back, when you increase the throttle, it also climbs quite nicely. And as I'm turning around and flying into the wind with the stabilizer turned on, the plane is almost hovering into the wind. Now this is the kind of stuff that you have to be pretty decent on the sticks to be able to do if you don't have any support from the stabilizer, but the plane's doing it out of the box. And in fact the plane itself is very nice and easy to fly. Make sure you get the center of gravity where it balances in the right point under the wing, and to do that I had to have the battery pushed right far into the nose, as far as it could be. And the plane itself behaves very, very nicely. It does feel like there's expo there, and it does inspire a lot of confidence. So what do I think? Well, I like the fact that everything comes in the box. If you are interested in radio control and learning to fly and not sure of all the pieces that you need to get, batteries, chargers, radios, receivers, how you bind them, how you set them up in OTX, all that stuff just seems completely overwhelming, this will give you everything you need by buying one thing. I do like the way it's easy to build and it's easy to break down. That ability to take everything apart using clips on the wings is quite nice. Using just a couple of screws to hold the tail in place means that if you do accidentally break something, it's easy to take the pieces off, to either repair them with hot glue or foam safe CA, or to get a spare from somewhere like Motion RC and pop it in. It's a nice size for park flying. That kind of 1200 millimeters means that you can fly a reasonable distance away and still have a very good idea of which side of the plane you're looking at. For me, it would have been nice to have some more colour on it, a few more decals on the top so that you could easily tell when it's a bit further away whether you're looking at the top or the bottom, but it is very floaty and easy to fly, and it does inspire a lot of confidence. I do like the idea of a stabilizer, but that stabilizer potentially is a double-edged sword. So, things I'm less impressed with: the manual is terrible. They should absolutely rewrite it. This is aimed at newer pilots. It's promoted as a trainer. The manual should be written in very simple to use English, and it should also include help and advice in how to fly safely, as well as actually put the model together. Because I'm guessing the radio is used for so many different models, it doesn't show you the mode that you're in, and you have to kind of work it out from interpreting what the manual's telling you, that that switch in the top left hand corner is the one that you have to flick to change between the two flight modes. And I was hoping that there'd be some kind of oh dear switch on the radio that will allow you to flick or pull or do something that would self-write the model. It's very easy when you're a new pilot to get into trouble, and just being able to pull on a switch in the event of a problem is great. If the plane could self-write and self-level, it means that all the problems that you got yourself into can automatically be taken away. And unfortunately, I can find that kind of feature on this, which I think is a bit of a mission. If you're going to put a stabilizer in, why wouldn't you put a feature like that on it? Bit of a shame there wasn't any CG marks in the foam to show you where it should balance. That information is on the website, it is in the manual. If you're going to know it and actually have it in there, why not mould it into the wings? Lots of models I'm looking at these days have the CG marks onto the wing, and it just makes it, when you're at the field, an awful lot easier to figure out exactly how you need to balance the plane. And because CG is so critical to have a plane flying well, it would have made sense to have it on a trainer. The servos on here and the connections are a little bit unusual. The receiver it's using and the radio are all pre-bound. It's all set up out the box, but it's a single unit. So if you wanted to maybe get one of these and swap it over and put your own receiver in it, then that isn't something you're able to do. Similarly, they're not using standard servo connections. They're using kind of really small plugs. And that lack of standard dew point size servo connectors does mean that if you continue in the hobby and you invest in a nice radio, a Taranis X9D, a Futaba, a Spectrum, whatever you get, it means that you can't then get a compatible receiver and stick it in this thing. You're going to have to try and get a radio that is compatible with the protocol, and that just gets really complicated. And my last point, the nose does need a little bit more protection. It is very thin and nice looking. There is an FPV version of this plane as well, so you could put an FPV canopy and be able to use FPV goggles to look out of it. But for a trainer plane, the nose is one of those parts that's going to get an awful lot of abuse, and it potentially needs a little bit more reinforcement because it is so slim and the battery's in there right at the very front. There's a chance that in the event of a crash, you're just going to snap the nose off. But hot glue is your friend, and with a bit of effort and some painter's tape, you can probably get the whole thing back together without having to buy a complete replacement. So in summary, if you're looking to have a trainer, then this gives you everything you need in one box. Just be a little bit careful of the stabilizer. The stabilizer, in my opinion, does a little bit too much help for you, and there isn't a way to kind of change the amount of help that you get. If you are going to get a plane like this, then as soon as you are comfortable flying in the stabilizer mode, start to wean yourself off it so you can start to get a much better idea of the corrective movements that you need to fly a plane. But this is one of those models that with the stabilizer turned on and stabilizer turned off is a lot of fun to fly. Thanks for watching the video and watching right to the very end. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you like the video and like what I'm doing here, then hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon too. If you really like what I'm doing, you can go the extra mile and become one of my Patreons for access to me directly for support, and also giveaways and regular updates too. If you're looking for particular content, then check out the playlist. I organise all of my videos into playlists, so if you're looking for a particular topic, you can find everything here. If it's called Introduction To, it's designed to start very simply and build on that simple introduction to teach you all about it. If it's called For Beginners, then that is really aimed at people who are brand new to that part of the hobby. You can also search on YouTube for anything that you're interested in using the search function at the top. So iNav Painless 360 will find all of my videos and even the playlist around iNav. So thanks again for watching and happy flying.